Hey guys, welcome back to CALLOUS Invitational 3, lower bracket round 3. Quite the interesting game one that we just witnessed, to say the least. A very exciting endgame. But now we're on to game 2. Dice the one with his back against the wall, and he is going to have to take down this game and a potential game 3 if he wishes to remain in the tournament. Let's see if he can do it. Switching those sides for continuity. Dice again on the bottom. T-Tar for Starmaster on the top. Dice has a Moltres. And Moltres pulls it back, only to be immediately pursued. 43% is the opening play of the game. And that's going to make the Swampert, who just came in, worry about HP Grass as well, since obviously the T-Tar is at least partially, if not entirely, special. So Kuhn comes in. Swampert was not afraid. He went straight Earthquake. Kuhn took it pretty well. 36% Surf and 30% Earthquake here. This looks like it'll go Kuhn's way if they go blow for blow, but I guess Swampert, with the aid of some Protects, could get some lefties back, but that also opens up Kuhn just calm minding up, so it could be a tricky matchup. But Dice decides he's not having it. He goes over to Celebi, and it is just a Surf turn. Celebi takes that just fine. Leech Seed as the Kuhn stays in, and it does just go for rest. So Starmaster brought the sand, so Kuhn is not going to be the bulkiest thing in the whole wide world, but it's still pretty damn bulky, and he's obviously not going to stay in here while he is seated and while he is sleeping. That was a fantastic turn for Dice. I don't know if that was a prediction or if that was just dumb coincidence, but that worked out really, really well. Unrevealed Mag comes in at the exact time that Unrevealed Skarm comes in, catches him in one hit, KOs him, and Star is not going to have a single layer of spikes this game. That was just a great catch. Like I said, I don't know if that was just one of the best reads we've seen in the entire tournament, or if that was just dumb luck, but that worked out perfectly for Dice, and Starmaster way behind, losing his Skarm for absolutely nothing. End of note, we've got an Umbreon sighting. I believe that is the first Umbreon of the tournament. Don't quote me on that. I know that we saw an Umbreon in play-ins, if we're counting that, but in the main event, I think this is the very first Umbreon, so I'm pumped to see what he's going to do with it. It doesn't look like a Perish Trap team. When I see on paper, when I see Umbreon and Celebi, the first thing that comes to my mind is Mean Look Perish Trap. So for those unfamiliar with that, the Umbreon uses Mean Look against, say, I don't know, a Blissey or like a supportive Pokemon, a Milotic, something like that. It Mean Looks, traps that kind of Pokemon. Baton passes to Celebi, who is very safe against those Pokemon. Celebi, of course, is a bulky set, and it just goes for Perish Song, spams Recover until the final turn of the Perish Song, and then the Celebi gets out of the way because it can, whereas the trapped Pokemon can't because of Mean Look and simply dies to the Perish Song. It's an old strategy, it's cheesy, it's unfun to play against, but it is a thing, and when I see those two Pokemon together, Celebi and Umbreon, that is immediately what comes to my mind, but I don't think that's the case in this game. Celebi has shown only Leech Seed, so I mean, it could, in theory, still be a set like Leech Seed, Recover, Perish Song, and an Attack, or something like that. It could be that, but I don't believe that is the case. There is Hidden Power, so that is HP Grass, so it's still possible that it is the set that I just described. Jirachi took that just fine. It's going to be hit by Leech Seed, and it's going to go for Wish. Let's see. T-Tar could use it. He's at 49%. Kuhn at 76%. Claydol healthy, and Gengar healthy. Magneton comes in for the trap, and Jirachi intelligently does get out of the way. It would have been trapped against a Magneton that it cannot switch out against, and it would have been seeded. So that would have been very good for Dice, but Starmaster does not allow it to happen, and he's going to pass the Wish to his T-Tar. It's going to go back up after lefties to 100%. Earthquake underwhelming here against the Umbreon, and it is just going to go for Wish. So a crit could kill him here unless he just has Protect, which he very well may. No, he goes Toxic there, aimed at Claydol, but that's going to whiff on the Jirachi. That being said, Umbreon back to 100% after simply eating his own Wish. Wish from Rachi now. and from Umbreon. So now we'll check on Dice's side. Moltres at 60 could use it. Swampert, I mean, would take it, but not urgent. Celebi healthy, Magneton healthy, and obviously the unrevealed Pokemon is not damaged and does not need the Wish. It is Body Slam Jirachi from Starmaster. Power does not come on Swampert, despite the favorable 60-40 odds of that happening. And Swampert goes back up to 100%. Protect and Earthquake, respectively. Here's Magneton, and it comes in on a Wish turn. Jirachi is now trapped, but Magneton does not necessarily win this fight with that Wish looming overhead. And yeah, now we know that it is what they call Asterachi. Last move is Fire Punch, so I don't think Magneton actually wins this 1v1, but he's going to try it anyway. He gets a Thunder Wave off, but I mean, that Fire Punch is 61%. Magneton will not even close to live another one, and as such, Dice gets out of the way. That was a good switch up from Starmaster. Smart to know that Dice was going to switch there, and a Body Slam was a better play than Fire Punch, and he was rewarded for that. He's going to paralyze the Moltres. That was a nice little catch from Starmaster. Moltres definitely way less effective without its speed, and it would have outsped everything other than the Gengar on Starmaster's team. So that was a nice little power. That makes the Moltres basically a non-threat. Now things that could not handle it before. Now the Coon handles it without issue. Now the T-Tar handles it. Now the Gengar already handled it. But yeah, I mean, the Moltres now is, I mean, it's not useless, but it's pretty crippled. That power was bad. Good catch for Starmaster for sure. That being said, speaking of good catches, that Magneton on Skarmory sequence earlier was still amazing for Dice. And the fact that that happened at all, and that Star didn't get a single layer of spikes down, I think Dice is still ahead right now, despite the nice play that Starmaster just made. These two are boosting at each other. Surf is a lot. This is going to be a trade, it looks like. No! He goes Rest as opposed to the attack. It would have been a trade with the Sand had he simply attacked there, but he opted for the more conservative route. So now we'll see what Starmaster does. His Phaser Skarm is dead. The Coon or the T-Tar could both still have Roar. We haven't seen the last move for either one, but so far, no phasing coming down here. Coon has just been attacking. It is a Sleep Talk Lax. That's going to make Star a little bit nervous. He obviously doesn't want him to find an attack here, which is Return. And he does not. He's going to whiff on Sleep Talk both times. He finds Rest both times. However, he should live a Surf here pending a crit, and will presumably just Rest again. And that is not what happens. He wakes up and goes Return as the Coon goes for Rest. So now the situation might be reversed. Does the Coon have Sleep Talk now? He's not going to stay in to find out. T-Tar comes in, and it is going to be Rest for Lax, who is worried about the Coon having Surf in his sleep. So it's interesting that they both might be Rest Talkers there. But man, the best thing he could do is Pursuit. That is very underwhelming. It takes 8%. Now granted, these returns are not doing huge damage, but they're doing a hell of a lot more than 8%. So we'll see if Star's got something better he can do. There's Crunch. That obviously does a lot more. Specs Drop is definitely relevant. That might steer the Lax toward the route of switching. Sleep Talk finds Curse here. I don't think that's good enough to make him stay in. T-Tar should definitely Crunch again, even if he thinks it's going to be a switch. I like Crunch here better than Pursuit. He agrees. 28%. Another Specs Drop. And there is the return. This is an awkward position now for Dice. I mean, do you switch and just get nailed by the Pursuit with the double drop? Or do you just say, okay, those drops suck, I have to stay in now? Yeah, he opts for that. So the drops are bad, and he's just going to stay in. I'm surprised he didn't return, actually. He's going to rest and try to fight through this. Is he going to try to switch now? I mean, if he stays in on Pursuit, that's pretty good. He does pull it back, and Star does go for the Pursuit. So it does 37%. It's a nice chunk. And the Lax is safe now, HP-wise, but remember, he hasn't killed a single sleep turn either, so kind of a trade-off there. The two Wish users, once again, staring each other down. These pokes are complete non-threats to each other, so they could sit in on each other all day. Dice is going to try to pass it to Moltres. Jirachi couldn't have stopped it anyway, but he doesn't get to do anything, and the Moltres, even though it is still paralyzed and presumably cannot become unparalyzed, is going to at least be healthier now. Sunny Day is going to get rid of the sand temporarily. Star does, of course, still have the T-Tower and could reestablish it later, but for now, it's gone. And it's going to be Crunch and Will-O-Wisp respectively. Now it's a bit tricky here for Moltres and for Dice. Got to be careful of both Crunch and Pursuit depending on what you think Star is going to do. And Star does make the right call. It is a withdrawal and it is a Pursuit. 41%, leaving Moltres at 15% and paralyzed. Moltres comes in again. That's risky. Gets in on Gengar. Alright. I mean, at least he gets lefties. Gengar is potentially dangerous here. Moltres obviously not about to stay in on it. The whole point of Umbreon is to either set up the Perish Song Celebi, which I still don't think that it is, or to have Pursuit and be a very reliable answer to Gengar. That was a very underwhelming enhanced stab Pursuit. The Gengar switched, so the Pursuit got the bonus, and the Umbreon obviously is a dark type and has stab behind it, and it still only did 44%. That is not great. But nevertheless, Umbreon is very safe against Gengar since it's just so naturally bulky, and Gengar doesn't have any attacks that hit it super effectively, so Umbreon will be able to continue to commit on Gengar and pressure it with that threat of Pursuit. This game could be in for the long haul here. There's that one knockout from that trap that Star could not have prevented, but beyond that, both teams pretty sturdy here. Now this is a potential knockout waiting to happen. Hidden Power there, 46%, 50 of that negated by Wish, so it's a net gain barely for T-Tower, but then the burn even things out, so he's pretty much back to where he started. And there's Hidden Power again. So we still only know the two moves from Celebi. I mean, granted, we can assume with virtual certainty that one of the moves, there we go, there's Heal Bell, that one of the moves is going to be Recover. So we now know the whole set. And Heal Bell makes a lot of sense to me because Umbreon has Synchronize, so he's totally fine coming in and getting himself burnt or whatever because he just passes it back to somebody else, but then Celebi can heal it later so he can continue to utilize that trick over and over again. And then the Heal Bell also is going to wake up the Lax, which of course is a mono-attacking Lax trying to utilize Sleep Talk. So yeah, Heal Bell makes a lot of sense. So that's why I said presumably earlier with the Moltres, presumably cannot not recover from the paralysis, because there was the possibility that the Celebi is a Heal Bell set. Now we know, in fact, it is a Heal Bell set. So Moltres is back to being fairly useful again. It is pretty low. It's only at 21%, but with the power gone, oh, that's bad for Star. He's going to blow up into a Protect. Oh, wow, he thinks that's bad enough to forfeit. Okay, well that game came to an abrupt end. I thought we'd be grinding it out a little while longer, but Star sees it differently. I mean, his T-Tower's low and burnt. Gengar's low-ish and can't break the Umbreon. Coon's low-ish. I don't know, that might have been a premature concession for Star. Felt like he wasn't quite dead yet, but he was definitely behind. It was definitely not looking good, and booming into a Protect obviously does not feel good and is not what you want to be doing. So whether it is frustration or whether he simply thinks he cannot win from this point, Starmaster is going to pack it in. That's going to bring us to a 1-1, and that is going to send us to a third and final game in which one of these players will be eliminated with a disappointing 1-2 exit to the CALLOUS Invitational 3 tournament. So thumbs up if you liked this game, and look forward to that third and final game coming up next.